Hello traders, welcome to Price Action Insights. This is Chris, and today I just want to back up a little bit and talk a little bit more about interbank flows via the aggregator. I may have not gotten into enough detail in some areas, and so let's just kind of revisit this and get into some more insight into to how prices are delivered to you and to what you see on your charting program. So if you've got the bank client is contacting the bank through various means by the phone uh, or through some forms of electronic communications. They put in their order with the bank. The bank is processing the order. The bank has representation with the aggregator. The aggregator and the bank relationship, the aggregator would have lines of credit with the bank so that they can take they can take their prices and their liquidity and dish it off um, to a counterparty in the market. Now the aggregator will take the best bid and best offer of all the banks prices at the interbank market at the interbank price, take the best bid and the best offer, and they will show that to the marketplace. And now the best bid, best offer is obviously going to be the thinnest end of the market. It's going to be the thinnest level of liquidity represented in the queue of available prices. So if you have, I've just taken a picture here because it's a weekend and I can't pull up the live stream, but if you have pound dollar trading at 56, obviously an old slide, 56, 95.5, you've got um, the depth of liquidity, you've got the depth of liquidity on the offers and the spread in between, and these prices are the best available prices. So they're going to be the thinnest end of the market with the depth of liquidity. Now, the liquidity obviously is streaming in from a multitude of banks. The prices are streaming in, and in this queue, obviously this queue is going to be interrupted. So obviously the market's not going to fill the entire depth of liquidity in order. Obviously new orders are constantly coming in, so the prices are constantly changing either on a streaming or a refresh basis. So therefore the volumes on both sides of the market are constantly changing. So you may have the best bid, best offer. It can be extremely thin liquidity, or it can have some pretty good depth behind it. It all depends on the nature of the market conditions at the time, and that's something that you have to kind of get a feel for over time just by understanding a little bit more about price. So, so if you're a trader and your platform, and I'm just going to assume that the trader is dealing directly with the aggregator. If you're dealing through a retail FX platform, they can repackage the feed and it can look a little bit different. Or you may have stream liquidity straight through to the aggregator, which puts you straight through to a bank liquidity. Now, if you're a trader and you make a trade at best bid or best offer, let's say that that you're buying say euro against US dollar, and the banks are offering at X price, and you want to buy uh, just for round numbers, you want to buy $100 in banking terms is 100 million, but we can just say $100 as $100. Uh, you may have Bank A. Bank A may be offering $30. Bank B may be offering $30, and Bank C may be offering $40. So your liquidity can be filled by Bank A, B, and C, and so you'll pull in that liquidity and get prices from the range of banks that are available at your price. You may be off by a tick here, by a fraction of a tick here or there, but in general, you may be able to get filled full liquidity. And I'm just going to I'm making reference to $100 as in just $100, not 100 million, because that's a bit of a different scenario. So if you come in with a bid and Bank A is only offering offering $40 at your price, Bank B is offering $40 at a higher price and bank C is offering liquidity at a higher price still, then what happens is obviously you're going to get, and the other banks are on the periphery, okay, of those prices. And again, it's constantly streaming, so this can change extremely fast. Then typically what will happen is you will move your liquidity into the market. Uh, you will have your orders filled, and you'll have an average price at which you were filled. So the banks are constantly bringing in new prices, forming a queue, and as prices move up and down, the best bid, best offer come available based on volume, because volatility is a function of liquidity, and the liquidity that comes available is going to determine the manner of volatility. So, for example, if you see price has stabilized within a certain range of price, say 3, 4, 5 pips, price has stabilized, you only need a depth surge that outweighs the side in opposition. And what happens is, for example, if the bids come in and they have a pretty good depth surge against a weak spot on the ask side, then you're going to see price start to run. So what happens is that the banks, if there's a weakness on one side on the offers, and the bids come in looking for offers, then the banks' prices are going to have to shift, because they're not going, once price starts moving, they're not going to want to get clipped. So you can see here, in looking at this 1-minute chart, when price went into a low liquidity state for a number of minutes, in that low liquidity state, you would have had a surge on the bids against a weak side in the offers. We had been trading in this 4 pip range for some period. We were in a low liquidity state. We had a significant surge, or the surge relative to the weakness on the side of the offers. Price began to push looking for liquidity, but once that shift happens, these banks need to make an adjustment, and they have in their algorithms a manner in which the adjustment is made that makes the bids have to move a little bit to catch their price, because they don't want to be arbitraged. Some banks may or may not use the last look mechanics that can also interfere with the overall flow of liquidity in terms of best bid, best offer, and in terms of which liquidity you have accepted, because you can go into the market, you can have, and in this case, let's say it is a $10 million order, you can go into the market, get filled on 2 million, and then get sent to the next bank to fill the next level, the remainder of the balance of your liquidity. And that bank, if prices are moving, then that bank may decide to exercise last look option, and then hold the order, or reject the order. Then then it will come back into your hands. You'll need to actually move back in and get deflected to another bank, or execute with another bank. So, or the same order, you may come in at another time, come into that bank, get filled for 2, and then get deflected to a different bank that will offer you the liquidity, but at a maybe a slight price discrepancy, while the other bank would have held the order or rejected the order. So there's a lot of variables going on in this environment, and a lot of details concerning the variables, but just so you get a sense of the basic mechanics of what can go on here. So you can see here, once price started to move, it had to find the liquidity. It gets very, very thin, and at the very top of the move, not only is best bid, best offer the thinnest level of liquidity in the depth queue, then you're getting to the thin end of the move of the thinnest area of liquidity. And then you see, so we've got a void that has been established here, and price just drops back to have to pick up more liquidity, because as price moves higher, it gets weaker and thinner, while liquidity is still coming back into flow at the foundation or some distance away from price. In this video, or probably in any of the videos in the free members area, I'm not going to get into how all those flows affect various price responses and so forth. But there's the understanding of this, of the core price delivery mechanisms, um, can be well connected to understanding liquidity and its effect of volatility, both in the long term and in the short term. That's it for today. Good luck with your trading.